coming up with your own one-page strategy. If you did, now today is the time for you to see how you're going now to measure it. The things that you planned to put in the whole strategy, the breakdowns of that 10, which are supposed to be 11, the 11th part is what Joanne is discussing today. So let's welcome Joanne to come through and start us off. Sorry, I'm stammering today, I don't know why, but yeah, forgive me with my stammer. But yeah, Joanne, please.
Thank you, Kahil. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're right here. So
thank you, Kahil, so much for the introductions. Good morning, participants. I'm excited to be taking us in the last session of the training. Today, we'll be talking about social media metrics and reporting. I see most of us are from universities, and normally when we are doing our research, we have a passion. The idea is that maybe you want to improve a variety of maybe genets. So what happens is you have a passion to create, let's say, to increase the volume or the number or the size of the products that you're producing for farmers. But to justify that, you also need to add what they call research or data. So Kahil has been touching on the art. So I'll be touching on the science of social media. The art is the content creation and management. The science is how do you quantify your time on social media? How do you ensure that you report right and be able to justify the investment on social media? So you're welcome in today's training. And we appreciate your attendance. So for those that will be joining us later, we shall do a recap like we've done for the last 2 days. So my experience will be drawn from a communications and marketing angle. Kahil has been doing hers from a content digital angle. And the idea is to share experiences over the years that I have worked with and what has worked, what hasn't, and see if these can also enrich your experiences that you're going through. So that will be my take for today. My presentation is in 3 sections. One is measuring, the other is reporting, and then the tools. So during those different sections, we'll have small discussions and catch up, make sure that we are on the right track with all of you. And in case I am very fast, because I'm a fast speaker, please kindly let me know in the chat box so I can slow down. I have a tendency to speak fast. So if I'm speaking very fast, please let me know so I can slow down. So is social media an art or a science? Some people say it's an art because it requires you to invest more time, effort, resources. So even when you're creating content, you need to invest your time, ideas, even your soul into it. And then it's a science because of the approach that you use. Now you've created your content, and now you want to see if it works online. So how do you measure? So now that's the science bit of it. What standards do you use to measure to ensure that the time that you spend on social media is valuable, that the content that you're creating is reaching to the right audience? So that will be our discussion today. How do we ensure that the people that we intend to target or reach get the content that we have worked to share with them? So what are social media metrics? So in my short summary here, it's data that is used to assess the impact of our activities. So let's say you have a post and you'd like to know how effective it has reached. Remember, there are issues of setting goals, creating a content calendar. So now you have your content. So now you want to measure what standards are you going to use? what system are you going to have in place to ensure that you have the data that you need to assess the impact of your campaigns or activities. So mainly it's about assessing that you've achieved your goals on social media, and also having an understanding on what people are saying about your brand. Your brand could be a product that you're launching. Let's say maybe you have a new hair product and you'd like to I'm looking at Kahil because she likes talking about hair, and you'd like to know if people perceive the product in a positive way or a negative way, and how can you improve it. So by having those metrics set up right, you're able to understand how people perceive your products and services that you're offering. So Tahil talked about goals, but I want to speak about goals as we delve into the metrics, reporting and measuring. For everyone that is on social media, why are you on social media? For some people, it is brand awareness. So you have a new cafe. I like food, so you see that my presentation has a bit of food. So I'm giving an example of a restaurant. So let's say you're launching a new salad. So you're saying that, that our campaign, our goal is to make sure there's awareness of the new salad on the menu. And then let's say your idea is to build a fan base. So maybe there have been people that have been enjoying your food at the restaurant. So now you want to increase that fan base. So there are different ways of understanding goals on social media. And some companies even use customer care as a way, as their goals on social media. For example, most telecom companies use customer care, use social media to reach out to their audiences. I know myself, I use a lot of Twitter to troubleshoot for Umeme, our local provider for electricity, DSTV. So people have found it useful to get insights from customers. If they're dissatisfied, you can always reach them on social media. And then some people generally just want to share information. So if you have a new product or a new variety that you want to share, you can use social media. So it's really important to understand why you are on social media. And then when you understand what you're trying to achieve on social media, then you're able to identify what we call key performance indicators, which they call KPIs, so that you can measure. So let's say if you want to measure engagement, you can look at things like retweets, comments, and how people are engaging with your post. So it's really about understanding what is your goal on social media. There are different goals. So if you understand your goal, then you're able to measure and establish the right metrics. Right? Metrics are standards and systems of measuring your impact on social media. So there are two types of analysts, and I think I want to focus on these two, because sometimes when we are doing the measurements, there's one called ongoing. So ongoing is, let's say you have a business. An example, I'm using a tomato business, and the idea is you want to promote the new cherries. Sorry. You want to promote, sorry, so you want to promote the new brands, and let's say you have different types of tomatoes. So if you want to track and see which ones people prefer the most, you can then have a survey on social media, and then ask people questions. Okay, we have these two types of tomatoes. Please give us feedback on the tests, on how long they take before they expire and things like that. So now those are ongoing. You track them by day, by month, and by year. And over a duration of time, you are able to understand where people's needs are and their interests. Now, then also there's what we call campaign-focused analysts. Now, when you're looking at campaign-focused, these ones have a time duration. I'm sure most of us have heard about Black Lives Matter. It's a movement that started because of racial injustice to the Black community. So then they said, we want to have awareness about this injustice. So it is focused, it has a time period, and with that, so these are the different kinds of measures that you do. So even as, like, let's say Forum now is having its triennial conference, we have what we call the Africa Higher Education Week. So now that is a campaign we are running to have all sessions that are running for the African Higher Education Week, all content, all speakers, anything that has been spoken about the Higher Education Week will be aggregated in that. So when at the end of 1 month, when the conference is done, you can look back and see who was engaging with your content, where are they coming from, how old are they, in terms of percentages, male, female, things like that. So it has a start and end date. Ongoing is something that you track over time. So let's say if you have a new product, you can use that to track over time by week, by month, and by year. So I'm going to go into the steps of measuring, so at least we understand. Again, I'm emphasizing the issue of social media goals. Before you get onto a platform, try to understand what are you trying to get out of the platform. And also there's a tendency for people to be everywhere. I always say, go and find where your people are. Because some people find that WhatsApp works for them. Some people find that Facebook now, Meta works for them. So I think it's important to go where your people are so that you can give them the content they need. So the first thing to do is establish your goals. Importantly, find out where your people are. And then after that, create a matrix to measure your goals. So how will you measure them? So there are things like engagement that you've had. So let's say if I want a client to come to my shop and I'm selling creams, let me say an example of creams, special creams. So the idea is that when I go onto the platform, I'm going to sell my product, and I'm hoping that with that feedback, I'm going to say, if they engage, I'll know by the number of retweets, the comments in the section, the number of likes, things like that. So I will say that when we launched our product, we said that we would have an idea of who is engaging with our product in terms of demographics as well. Are they female? Are they male? So you need to identify clear metrics to measure your goals as well. And then also use tools. So tools, I know I'm going to speak about tools in the later sections, but tools are things that help you to measure. I normally use Keyhole. Keyhole helps me measure campaigns, because normally when you're running events, they have a start and end date. So Keyhole helps you measure and be able to track and see who is engaging with your content, and then where are they coming from in terms of ages. Are they young people? Are they older people? And when you do that, you're able to understand your community, online community. And with that, you're able to improve the content that you're sharing. So it's important to understand why you're on social media, which channel you're going to use, because different channels have different audiences. TikTok is people who like to relax. Some people go there to relax, get inspired. WhatsApp, most people like it for business. Google My Business is also very good for what? For getting your insights right. So things like that. And then after you've done the goals, you've done your metrics, how will you measure? Is it by engagement? Is it by reach? Do you want to have your product reach more people? And then you can also have what we call paid adverts, where you're able to to reach more people. So you can say, I want to reach people in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, and I want to reach male people at the age of 18 to say 25. So when you set those metrics, you're able to say, okay, now we're going to launch a campaign in this following region, and this is what we hope to achieve. So when you're clear on that, then you're able to measure those things and say, okay, now let's look at our goals. Did we achieve our goals when we said we'll be in Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania? Did we get the young people engaging with us? So things like that. And then also you can use those tools to measure. Like I said, Keyhole, Sprout also does a good job. Now you now come to stage 4, which is to monitor and report. I always say start small and keep your numbers. So when you're having a baseline, you need to say, before we began the campaign or measuring, we had, let's say, 12 followers. And our goal was to increase the follower base or our online community. Let's say by 50 followers. So you say on 23rd, before we began our campaign, we had 12 followers. So now our goal is to increase our followers or our online community. So you have a benchmark. That way, when you start running your campaigns, you have somewhere to refer to and say, you know what, we invested this amount of time and money. And when we began, we were at this point. Now, after a month, we are seeing increase in numbers because that was our focus. But even with the increase, we are seeing other things coming through, because when you measure and you monitor, you start to track behavior change. So people may start to log in, let's say during 9 to 10, you're able to say, okay, now you know what? Our audience prefers to consume content from 9 to 10. So when you start to benchmark, then also you customize your content when you schedule it and when you share it. And then the last step is adjust and repeat. Measuring and reporting is a learning process. So you try one thing, if it works, you stick and improve. And then if it doesn't work, you learn from it. So the idea is to improve and make changes as you go along. And most times when you do it like for over a period of 3 months, you're able to have you can track and see the changes that have happened on your social media engagement. So it's important to always track, adjust, and repeat. It takes a while, but in the process, you're able to learn about your online community, what they like, how to engage with them, what time to engage with them, and things like that. Okay, so most of us have heard about reach, impressions, engagements, brand mentions. I just want to touch on this because these are quick ways you can know that you are doing something right on social media. Because some people say, for me, it's about post reach. So who is seeing your content? So as you're setting your metrics, who is seeing your content? It's important because at that time you're able to know when you can post your content, because some people post inspiring content. For example, there's what we call the Monday motivation. You can say, for me now, I've learned that people look at their phones from around 10, because from around 6 to 9, they're driving to office, they're checking news. So at 10, they're having a cup of tea. So when you start to understand the issue of reach and impressions, you're able to understand who is seeing your content and be able to understand how can you get them to have the right time to post during the daytime. And then also importantly, when you understand the issues of reach and post, you're able to understand combinations of hashtags and keywords. So when you're sharing your post, let's say I am speaking at a higher education summit. I'll say today I met with Kofi Annan and we spoke about issues that are rising in the agriculture sector, but also the role of universities. So now I can say, let me share this information. because I know at 10 a.m., there's someone that is having a cup of tea and browsing their Facebook, because you've understood what time they consume. So then I will say, okay, hashtag higher education, agriculture in Africa. So now when I put those important combinations of keywords, I'm able to have more people reach the right content because it has been aggregated in the right audiences of people who want to consume content on higher education, on agriculture, and topics in Africa. So it's important as we are creating content that we put the right measurements and understand who is it we are trying to address and have our attention delivered to. Then also we've had the issue called engagement count. Most people think it's trivial, you go online. I know we spoke about it yesterday that sometimes it's depressing. You've done your content and you only have 1 like. And there's no comment, there's no love. It is all a cold place online. So I want us to understand that when you do metrics and you start to monitor your conversation, the first time you post, maybe you posted between 10 and midday, and people were busy checking their emails, doing meetings. Now, the next time you post might be at lunchtime. And at lunchtime, you might post about food and say, oh, I met with Kahil, we're at Java's, and there's a huge breakfast promotion. Now, because I posted about Java's at lunchtime, and it was a photo, I got more comments, more likes. So I'm able to improve my strategy. So it's important to have engagement counts. So these are things like what you would call retweets, comments. People are engaging with your comment. They are talking about your comment with you. So also it helps you inform your content strategy, which we spoke about in day 1 and day 2. That way you can improve. So now you know what time to post, what content to post, and how to improve your engagement. So all these are metrics. So now you can start to track and see, oh, now people prefer us to post things at around lunchtime because that's when our audience, which you've identified, is available online to consume your content. Then there's what we call brand mentions. Who is talking about you? Right now, we are talking about Meta, also known as Facebook or former Facebook. So it's the current metaverse, is the current hashtag right now on, on social media, because Mark Zuckerberg has now changed his name. Kahil is
it's not really
PR.
It's not really the name. He has just changed the company name and not the brand name. He changed the company name, like the business name, to Meta.
Okay.
But the trading name for Facebook is still Facebook. The trading name for Instagram is still Instagram. So the one for WhatsApp is still WhatsApp. So the 3, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook itself, and then Oracle, are all still their names. It's just the trading name of the business. Like I would say Kahil Insights is my name for the business, but then I have Insights as a platform. So I change Kahil Insights and I leave Insights to be Insights as is. Then I just change Kahil Insights to let me say KI. Yeah, so that's what he did.
Okay. So Mark Zuckerberg, Kahil likes this thing. So anyway, so he changed. We now have a new name.
Yes.
In the social scene called Meta.
We have a new company. It's actually a new company called, it's not a new company, a new company name.
A new company name called Meta.
Yes.
And right now, if you go on your social media, it's a buzz, it's a hashtag metaverse that's happening. So now he said, I'm going to launch on Friday. I'm going to speak about this new company name. And then now you can see people are talking about it. Most people are saying, oh, he's trying to take over the universe and create his own small mini virtual world, things like that. But now you see, because of his mention and people talking about his brand, it is increasing his digital print. And it also shows his relevance in the social media space.
It's not actually only his the digital print. His shares grew at 10%.
Business people.
Thank you.
Business people. So you see, mentions are important. So now you can track those brand mentions and see who is talking about you, what they are saying about you, and also if it's an issue of public relations, how do you counter those things, or how do you educate the public? Now, like Cahill has been educating me right now, that it's not a new brand, it is a company name change. So now you see there are many of us who are misinformed right now online. It's because of the panic of now there's a new name. So now you can use that chance to say, let's educate the public, let's have them know the right content and information to share. Yeah, and then now what we call real-time messaging is having the conversation going. You know, there are people who come online. Remember, I talked about goals. Your goal is to have a clear goal. Let's say if you have a product you're launching, you want awareness of the company or customer care. Let me speak about customer care because it's such a big thing right now. Social media is using it a lot to engage with its online community. Real-time messaging. So you know how people are on Google, My Business, on Facebook pages, even for the universities. So now someone asks you on the university page, please tell us about the current programs ongoing. Now you take a whole month to respond to them. You're losing clients there. So it's important for us to keep track on those metrics. So now if we say that for us, our Facebook page for the university is mostly for information sharing and customer care. That means that when you're tracking your metrics, you're going to understand how long or how short the people take to get a response. So if people show you that after a month there's no response, then you have to understand there's something wrong. So it's important to track the real-time messaging if your focus is on customer care. And then also, because also people, when they come and it's quiet, there's no response, they go back and move on to other people. So you're losing your clients there. So if you're on the platform, be present. I know Cahill mentioned that if you're not present, you at least deactivate it, take a break. So we know you're not there. But if you're there, you be present and engage with your online community because they are there, they're waiting for your content to consume it. And the end goal in all this, in tracking your metrics, is to have conversions. Now, conversions is when you look at a customer journey. For example, Joanne came on social media and she liked my content. She saw the hair cream. She said, okay, fine, I think I like this hair cream. It can work for my skin tone. So now she goes and clicks. Remember, also you can have a click and say call for action. If you want to order for a product, click on this website. So you're now using social media to increase your sales. So now you're saying with our product, after you've told us how you think about it and you like it, you can buy. And here is where you buy it from. But remember that you've said that click here to go and buy. Now, from let's say Facebook or Twitter, I go and click. And when I get there, it's time to pay. And like in Uganda and I think Kenya, we do mobile money. Even I think also in Malawi, they use Airtel money. So you have put measurements of making payments to make it easy for the customer journey. So now you realize that along the way, the customer came, liked your post, clicked on where to buy, but along the way, before they made payment and checked out, you lost a client. So now when you go and track those metrics, you're able to identify where did you lose your client. Is it because maybe mobile money was not working or what happened? So if you understand where you lost a client, you're able to improve the process. So the end goal is to convert someone, either to become your ambassador or to become your sales and things like that. So it's important to keep these metrics because they also help you improve on your post tracking times. I know that there are defined times when you post and days when you post, but if you have these metrics, you can have your customized times. You know when your people are online, when you can post and things like that. So we've talked about metrics, the journey into metrics and how to track. I just want to know if we are all together before I go into reporting. Are we together? Are we together? Do you have any questions?
Esther, can you hear?
Can you hear now?
Is it on? Okay, Esther can hear.
All right, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. So we were asking you, we've just been, for the last hour, we've talked about metrics, how to measure your engagement. And so please let us know. Kahil, do you want to say something?
There's something I wanted to help you guys with. Just before she goes into the reporting, yeah? There is a checklist. I didn't do a presentation for it, but it's a nice checklist for you when you want to gauge your deliverables, how they have come through, how they are going. And this checklist has things to do. So I'm going to write some of these things, the calculations, because it's mainly a calculation checklist to see how your engagements are working, your growth rate, your average engagement, your amplifier rate, your validity rate, your conversational rate, conversion rate, click-through rate. So I'm going to type some of these things in there, but this helps you to get the people who have liked, either divide them with the people who have commented, and then divide them with the people who have shared. And again, you get an actual number that you can say, this is what we got on growth rate, and this is what we got on engagement, or this is what we got on conversion. That is what I'm going to share in that chat. So as Joanne continues to how you do that report, I'm going to be sharing these I'll call them formulas in the chat, but also I will type them out and then we will share them later so that you can also have them and use them, equip yourself with them. You can ask me when I whatever I share in the thingy, you can ask as you follow Joanne's presentation.
Thank you, Kahil. And maybe because Kahil is hands-on on this topic, I was wondering, because somehow we've taken into using tools to help us do the easy work. And Kahil perhaps comes from old school, and some of us have come into where now apps help us do the calculations and things like that. So do you think apps can overtake that, or we still need to do the...
So the apps are supposed to help you do that, but also when you're learning, before the app gives you something, you're going to defend. Remember, you have to defend this to your either your MD or your marketing manager or your client. So the app will just give you a number and say, this is your engagement rate. But then how did it get it? So even your manager is going to ask you, okay, you're telling me it's an engagement rate. How did you get to it? How did you evaluate to get to that rate? Okay. So you need to have like the formulas at the back of your end to say, okay, for the engagement rate, we got the number of likes and divide them by the number of times the number of comments plus the number of shares, then divide them by 100. That's how it works. Okay. So then it's more of have the knowledge and then use the apps later. When you're using the apps to do the engagements, the calculations, you know how it is doing it.
Okay.
Edna is asking you, what are some of the apps for engagement? I guess that is where you're going in your reporting.
Yeah. Thank you, Edna. Yes, I think, yes, I'll speak to that shortly, and then I will see if I've addressed it. I was about to go into reporting. Yes, to show you the different apps that, that we can use for engagement. But Sprout is a good one. I know Sprout is a good one, which I'll speak about in my next presentation. Okay, so as Kahil shares with us the calculations or how to reach those exact numbers, thank you, Kahil. I'll delve into the reporting. All right, so social media reporting is really presenting information both on your successes and failures. I know sometimes we like to have our reports that look all glossy and they're not failures, but I believe in life, all failures are chances for us to be able to learn from. So social media, sorry, I hear distracted. So reporting means that you're going to present your successes and your failures in your campaigns on social media. And for me, I use apps. I think I prefer to use apps, and I think Kahil prefers the old school. And yes, and all these are valid. So I prefer to use softwares. I think for me, it helps me a lot because I'm also a visual person. But yes, it's important to know, to have the knowledge to understand how do you get to these numbers. The math behind the numbers is important. And also for me, the dashboard metrics or numbers are important for people that are visual. For example, if you are asking for funding for your unit and you want a new member to support your social media engagements online, they need numbers and they want something that they can understand easily. So that's where these reporting tools come in handy. And reports really vary. You can have daily reports, you can have monthly reports, and also you can choose what you want to include in your report because of the goal. Remember, the goal is important. So as you're writing your reports, remember your goal. What do you want to achieve online? So also, what are you going to measure? Is it the number of fans or where your followers are coming from? Who is viewing your content? Who is engaging with your content? So these are all important. So for me, I find apps are easy and lazy, but easy and lazy, but yes, but they work because they do the hard science in my view, because I think we moved from exporting to Excel and then analyzing the content to now having apps do them for us. So there's one called DataPine, and I think it's an online software. And what it does, I think because people are so visual, it helps you understand your growth rate. So now if you say that you want to understand the number of people that have increased on your channels since, let's say, last month by month, you can, it gives you an idea. It can tell you this month you've gained this number of people. And then also, if you're launching a product and in your social media posts, you put a link to the product, it tells you who was able to click on the action and things like that. So for me, and then also if it's about demographics, men versus women, we spoke about the thing about men and women, who has the money, who spends the money, things like that. And now also with what Kahil did share, is, so if you say that, let's say this percentage of women is accessing our content or buying our content, why? So also when you're writing your reports, it's important to justify these actions. So if our numbers have increased, why have they increased? What has been the motivation? So if people are going to the call of action, so it helps you understand and justify the things. So even as you're sharing the graphical interface, it's important to also add justifications to these interfaces as well. So someone asked me why, which platforms. I think I'll go down. Remember, the presentation is in 3 parts. There is the metrics, the reporting, and then the tools. I'll share 2 of the tools I use, and then Kahil can jump in and share the other tools she uses, because I think here is where she has her hands on. It's like her good morning kind of work. So I think she'll give us more valuable insight. For me, I'm the visual person. I like people to do.
I'm already sharing in the chat.
Yes, thank you, Kahil. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now why it's important, again, just to emphasize, is that when you start to report and track your information, you create smarter content. So now you understand that your people prefer either posts or videos or photos. Then also you're able to schedule at the right time. So now you know that your people prefer to consume content between 10 and 11 because at that time they're having tea or they have access to the offices, things like that. And then also what I liked most is most of us have heard about Black Friday or Christmas seasons. Like, I don't know about where you are, but here, most people tend to fulfill their resolutions in December. So someone says, I'm going to finish my house this year, but then the year went along and nothing happened, and now it's December. Boom, they start to panic and say, I want to build a house. So now you see that the price of cement is increasing. So now when you're selling your product online, it's important to know the kind of products that people want to purchase, and then be able to align your content to the festivities. Things like Black Friday discounts and things like that. So if you have old stock that you want to get rid of, you can do Black Fridays and things like that. If you have Christmases and you want to promote family events, also tours and travels, you can always use those seasonal effects. But also importantly, these reports help you to improve the value of your strategy, because you now have insights. You can tell where your people are coming from, who consumes your content, and why they consume it, because that also give you feedback as well. And also understand new trends in the process, depending on your on your customer reach and your goals. So Edna, for me, I use, I'm going back into the social media tools. And for me, I use 2 tools. I use Keyhole and Sprout. And basically, those are my 2 reasons, which I'll explain in the presentation. But for me, tools, I find them useful because they help me to track information, understand my data, and also do visual reports. Because for me, visual is easier to understand and process, mostly if you're trying to explain to top management why you need some things. And so what I've shared on my presentation is a screenshot of Sprout. Sprout is an online tool. It's paid, and I'll explain below during my tools presentation. So most of the apps you realize that are external are paid. And then there are those that are inbuilt. Like now, what has happened over the years, the apps have evolved. They now have insights, like Facebook, Google My Business, they have insights. So you're able to understand your audience and what they are consuming. So what I do when I'm reporting, I combine. You understand what's happening on Facebook, you review the information and see what you can pick from the Facebook platform, and you combine in the general report. So Facebook, Instagram now, LinkedIn, Twitter, they all have insights that you can use. So if you're unable to afford the paid tools, Normally, you start off with what you have, understand your metrics, understand who is your audience, what they're doing on your platform, and then grow from there. Sorry. So I use Sprout. Edna, you asked about engagement. Sprout is a very good tool for engaging, but it's not just only engagement, it's also good for publishing, listening, collaborating. So what they've done is they've allowed you to have teammates. So one person can create content, and then let's say if I'm on a project with Kahil, she can tell me, Joanne, we're having a campaign this week. Please do for us the content, and then she will approve my content before it is posted. So you can have teams working together on the content calendar. And also it allows you to schedule your content as well. So, but the only challenge is that with all these good apps, there is a budget. And money. So you have to justify money. So why would your boss pay $99 a month for this service? So you have to justify that. But the apps for me work because now like Sprout allows you to integrate other platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So you have this one big dashboard with all your platforms. So it's like you're seeing everything in one place, and you can share content, you can respond to content, engagement, you can send back messages, you can retweet. So Sprout for me is a good platform for that. But yes, they have prices for them, and I know it does have a free version, a trial version, I think for 14 days. So you can go try and see if it works for you. If it's something you can invest in, but again, it all comes down to money. Then the other one I like to use because we run campaigns. If you're into running campaigns, things that start and end is Keyhole. Keyhole uses artificial intelligence. And why I like Keyhole is because it picks from websites, blogs, all these other news feeds. So it allows you to have more insights on what people are saying about your brand. And also with all these reports, you're able to export them into PDFs and be able to just to have a more understandable report. Again, that will be benchmarked with the knowledge on how you arrive to those calculations. But I think for me, having a visual idea of your goals, and if you've attained your goals and how to achieve them is really important. So for me, in terms of measurements, I use Sprout because it allows me to have all those things together. And then for campaigns, I use Keyhole. But there are other platforms like Hotsuite. There's, I think, Twitter Reach. There are many platforms, but you choose what works for you, really. Yeah, you choose what works for you. For me, these two work for me, but then there are other platforms which I will share at the end of the presentation with you guys, so you can go. I prefer that before you make a choice, you just go and look at you try some versions, see which one works for you, and then see if you can invest in it. But for me, why I like these platforms is they save me time. For example, again, Kahil will advise, but again, I see it a lot, and I speak from experience. When you're working and you are a comms person, nowadays they ask that you also do social media, you do PR. So you are this one person doing the 3 roles, which 3 roles are huge. Even just being a social media person is a huge responsibility. Now you are a comms person, now you are a PR. So for me, to save time, I prefer to use apps. For me, they work for me. But again, this is something that you can reflect on and see if it's something that you can invest in. But for me, it saves me time. I achieve my goal. I know my goals. I know where my people are. I know who I'm reaching. I have my reports. So depending on your social media goals, again, why are you on these platforms? What do you want to achieve? Which tools will help you to achieve this? So that's where I'm coming from a point of experience. And I think I would like to tap into Cahill's experience on tools and yeah, tools generally, use of tools. And if we are lazy using tools, or they work, or they are time, or they're expensive for nothing. So yeah, talk to me.
Tools. The tools are not expensive. Okay, they are expensive, but not for nothing. Because if you look at what the formulas I've given you or I've shared, sitting through those formulas and working them, for someone who is not good with math, it will be a struggle. For someone who doesn't like doing mathematics and what are the other things? Mathematics and
Physics
numbers.
and
No. Numbers, and what is the other one? There's a common one they use in primary school. But yes, we will go with numbers and mathematics. If you don't like doing mathematics, you won't be able to do the conversions.
And I don't like math.
Yeah, and we all know right now that Joan doesn't like those
I don't,
things.
so I won't lie, yes. But
for me, because sometimes you don't have a budget. You don't really have a budget to go and use Keyhole, Spout Social, Twitter Reach. You don't really have, but you need to get the conversions that you need for your report. So the best way is to write these, calculate them by your own self, and then develop them. Make the report through them. Other than that, you may not have a report to write if you don't have the tools. The good thing is also Facebook gives you its own analytical tools. So Facebook has an analytical tool at the back where it calculates for you and tells you this, your reach is this, you're averaging at that. Twitter also has the same thing. But when you're writing a report, sometimes if you have a strict boss who is so keen on numbers and all those things, they will ask you, how did you arrive at this particular answer? How did you? Then you scratch your head. Then you will say, you use the tool. Okay, how do we trust the tool? How are we sure that the tool provided the right answers? So you need to also go back in and fact check. I'll call it fact check for yourself to be sure that the numbers that the tools are giving you are actual numbers that you can relate to. So I'll give an example. If you're going to look for your post reach, and Facebook tells you your post reach has gone to 10,000 people, that means the post view divided by total followers is the percentage that you're going to get. So that will be like what, 50, 75% or 60% average, yes, 65% of a post reach. That is how your posts have worked. The only way for you to know that it is like that is mainly to look at, say, post view. So you go to post view and then we get the total followers. So if you have a post view of, I would say 200,000 people who have viewed your posts, then you have to divide that by the total followers on your page. So if you have 1,000 people on your page, you divide by the 20,000, the 200,000, then multiply that by 100. That is how you get the percentage post reach. So the formulas I've given help to feed into, or help you to be enlightened at the back of your hand to know what the online tools will give you.
So Cahill, I think it would be nice to have this like in a word point or somewhere as we share at the end of today's session. They have it, because yes, even just Cahill saying divide by this, I was like, ooh la la, divide. Yes, but I think to get the desired goals, we must do things we don't like.
We are learning.
Yeah.
So we have to learn. We need to learn the theory.
But I like the Excel. I think I numbers aren't my thing, but I have enjoyed using Excel. So
you can actually put these formulas in an Excel sheet, and work with them, which I did not prepare. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to give you the formulas as they are. Then you guys can just put them in the Excel sheet for yourself. So you just know this is a formula for this is a formula for that.
So are we together, people? Do we all like math? Do we like numbers?
We don't all. Actually, I also don't like numbers, Joanne, but you were telling people, you're telling the whole of Africa that I like numbers, yet I don't really. I'm not,
embrace it.
You just embrace it because the job asks for it. So we took it in. But it's not my cup of tea.
Okay, Namgaya says she loves math. Wow.
I'm gonna hear your things. I'm sending, I've sent them, you can deal with them.
Okay, so we shall share the numbers, the math, the formulas with you, and then hopefully this can help you do without spending much.
Yes.
Start from there and then learn. And then if you feel, and I think also with Excel, you can then do the pie charts, the graphs, and all those things. Yeah.
Actually, when you put these formulas into Excel, it's going to be easy for you to even come up with the visual report that Joanne loves so much. So if Joanne is your boss is like Joanne, and your boss is the one who's saying we don't have money for your reports, but we need a report.
Yes.
Then you just use the formulas and put them in Excel.
Yes.
Then convert that your outcomes into visual Excel pie charts, graphs, and then add some images for your own self, and you have a nice report.
You know what's interesting? When as I began this journey, you learn a lot of things. You become a graphic person. You learn how to design, how to present. So I think also in a way you grow as a person.
Yes.
So even if there are things like I don't like math, I will learn how to use Excel because I know I must justify, like someone said in the chat, numbers don't lie.
No, they don't.
So if I have my numbers, I use my Excel, I can actually tell my boss, from here, we came here, and these are the graphs I'm using. Yeah. So people, thank you so much. Yes, numbers don't lie, that's for sure. And I think it's nice to start small. But again, if you have money and you have a budget, I know there are people that have budgets for these things. If you can afford, but you can afford and purchase, it'll be nice. But also learning from the basic really helps a lot, because then you're grounding yourself really. Yeah, and of course, Joanne likes her numbers and her images, and Joanne will take on Excel, and Joanne will also embrace graphics.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kahil, for that. So yes, so there are apps to make your work easy, but also there's the hard work, which helps you to understand. I think the hard work is like, it's like education, you invest. It's why you go to school from primary 1 up to university. People ask you why, but that whole journey grows you as a person. Yes. So by the time you start now doing these things, you already have a baseline, which is important. Yeah. Yeah. So at True Forum, we used the keyhole. We had a conference, and I keep saying we because I once worked for a forum, forgive me please. And I did lead the social media team, and we tracked the Africa Higher Education Week for 2016. And what I liked is, I think it's a campaign you build. It's like an event, you build this thing for 3 months. You say, we are starting for 3 months. We're going to engage people. And that's why we are saying we're having these trainings to help you understand and engage with people, because we realize that many scientists are looking for platforms where they can connect and engage with other people. And also when you're able to sell your products on those platforms, it helps. Now, like we have this Higher Education Week coming up, we're now calling it 2021. It's happening in Benin. And really, if you're into agriculture, if you're into private business, you're having your snacks, you're selling, and you're having things you want to promote or share. And also, if you have doing some research, I always tell people, it's okay to share things about research on social media, but it's how you share them. For example, if you understand that I'm going to follow Forum, FARA, CTA, these are research organizations, CIAT, things like that. When you follow them and you're engaging with them, you're able to ask questions. Let's say, if you're doing a research on a product that you want to improve, its variety, you can ask people on options. What would you prefer to consume? One that grows very fast, or one that has more produce? And people can be able to give you answers, either in a poll or comments. And with that, you can be able to input in your research. So I think also we can cleverly use these social media tools to improve our research and just inform us on how people think about these things that we produce. So for me also, using the hashtag is important because you're able to speak to the right people. So this hashtag, most people are talking about research, investing in Africa, education, in agriculture. There are also students, there are vice chancellors on these platforms. So really, I think if you can tap into this oasis of a community, I think it would be nice for you. So that's why I'm encouraging all of us to really engage with our hashtag, which now we are running as the Africa Higher Education Week 2021, and be able to engage. And again, like I said, this is all practice. Kaka Hill has shared with us the baseline, the foundations, and also we've understood the tools to use. Now we've been able to understand how to create content, how to manage content, how to monitor content, how to report. So now you've had a journey of content learning, strategy, management, measuring, and reporting. So we are hoping that from this 3-day training, you've been able to understand where, if you had gaps, where you can improve, if there are tools you can use, if there's a budget, and if you have no budget, how can you work around it? And Kahil has shared with us those formulas, and you can use Excel, and then also improve them with the graphics in Excel, and then import them to presentations. Really, I think when you work around your budget, it works. And then also, what I like about when you start small is then you can see your growth curve. You can then justify and say, okay, now guys, let's invest in these tools. The thing is now too manual, or I need support, things like that. So yeah, so today's presentation was really mainly about those. If we have any questions in the chat room, please let us know. We have about half an hour to engage with you. And if you have any burning questions from day 1 to day 3, we also ask that you can bring them up now. We can have a chat about them and see how we can better improve ourselves. And also, if you have an app you've been using, or what you've been using, it's just about learning, really. So even me, I can learn something new from you. Like I also learned from Kahil today. So really, it's about learning. So I think for me, let's share. If there are things which are going to work for us, let's share them. So that let's see what we can improve as well. But also let's understand how to better use our spaces online and how to manage our time, really.
Yeah, thank you, John. Also, you said something I wanted to say, but let me elaborate.
Okay.
If the people who have been receiving mail and you've been receiving the presentations from September and now the October presentations, and you've already looked through and you have some questions in regarding to what we have been teaching all through the 2 months, please, it's now time for you to come through and ask the questions. Like where you found yourself not understanding, where you found yourself being, where you found yourself not understanding what was shared or failing to grasp, you can just come through and let us know where you need help.
Okay.
So yeah, if you have a question, you can raise your hand. It will be able to see you, give you a microphone, you can speak to us. You know, guys, you've not been talking to us for the last 2 days. So we want to hear your voices.
Your voices.
Yes. Like people like Esther, Edna, Jackson, Richard. We saw you in
Diana,
October.
Yes.
So we saw you in September, and you're here in October. So we really want to hear from you on this one too. And looking like it is the last one for the year.
Yeah.
Yes. So we would want to hear. Please, guys, raise your hand. We will really give you the mic. Don't leave us hanging. Or you can use also the question and answer section. You can give us a question. If you don't want to raise your hand, you might be scared of speaking.
Oh yeah, just to say we only enable the microphone. Yeah, Zoom is quite interesting. Huh?
Ah, Miriam. Welcome, Miriam. Yes, please unmute yourself and please speak. Miriam, you can unmute and speak. You can see your hand raised up.
Mariam, you are enabled to talk, so please go ahead and talk.
Yes, David.
Yes, Mariam is can unmute herself and then she can talk. She's allowed to talk.
I beg your pardon, I missed that.
I'm saying Mariam is allowed to talk. She's enabled, so she can unmute herself and she can talk.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mariam, we are waiting on you.
Mariam, go ahead. Please unmute yourself. And then you can talk.
Okay, as right from Mariam. Jackson, I see your comment. You're saying that this has been enlightening for you. There is a lot in social media metrics. Yes, there is a lot, because that is what speaks into your content creation. It's what speaks into your marketing for your brand. It what speaks into the future of your online presence. As I said, when I said on Wednesday, I said social media is really digital, actually not social media, but social media fits into digital marketing. Digital marketing as a whole is huge. There's a lot to it, but not one person can sit on it and say, I am the one who is doing the digital marketing for the whole brand. You can't. Because now if you have to go and calculate those numbers I've given you, and then you are the one who is posting on the pages, because that means when you're calculating, you're spending like a full day to calculate. That means that full day, you're not posting. That means that day, you're not creating content. You're not filling up the calendar for next month. Remember, you're doing this report at the end of the month because it's needed at the end of the month. Now you also have to create the content that needs to go up for the new month. My dear, then it becomes a real trouble. Requirement needed in social media. Mariam, that was your question. You want to find out the requirements needed. Can you rephrase? Yes. I don't understand what you have typed. Requirement used in social media. Please rephrase. Still doesn't make sense what you have typed again.
So as Mariam sends us her feedback, I've also noticed that it's really helpful when people integrate social media into annual reporting. So for example, if you give it a space in your annual report and report numbers and their impact on social media and what people are saying about your brand, it really helps a lot. So I think it's also nice that people try to find a way to integrate those numbers into actual living documents of institutions.
Yes.
Because then you have buy-in. People understand the value of the work you do. And also you have more reach in terms of people saying, oh, okay, this thing really works and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mariam has come back. Requirement used in social media. Requirement. I don't know if you're asking what is required to do social media. I'm not sure.
It is hard to understand the question.
Joanne, can you help?
I am struggling. Miriam, apologies. We can't seem to understand what you're meaning.
Can someone else on the chat or someone else in the class who understands what Miriam is asking, please elaborate for us? We might be in the English speaking and Miriam is a French speaking person. Blessing, we can see your comment. Yes, the slides will come through as we have been sharing them. Yeah. Jackson, you're asking to shed more light on the post-engagement analytics. analytics, post-engagement analytics. Is that the formula that I sent you're asking about? Clarify for me, Jackson, is that the formula I sent?
Or do you mean we explain post-engagement?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Or the formula? Kindly, could you let us understand the question so we can explain?
Miriam has come back to explain it. Miriam has come back for her question. Okay. And she said the requirements to do in social media. Okay, now I can understand where you're driving. So you're asking what is required to do social media? What is required? You're asking like the skill sets. I'm looking at you saying skill sets or qualifications to do social media. Now, qualifications to do social media, I'm not going to say there is none. They are there, but social media itself, you need to be able to post so someone can do community management. Community management is someone who posts online and manages the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the website. Then someone who writes the content that goes on those sites. Like the community manager manages the content, but they do not create the content. For them, their job is, I have been given a content calendar. This is what is going up. I'm supposed to find the content. I find the content in a drive here and I share it. You get what I mean, Mariam? So community manager manages the platforms, makes sure they upload the necessary content, what has been asked for, builds the online, builds the pages, numbers, creates relationships for the page with other pages or individuals. That's what they do. Those are now two. So you have a community manager, then you have a content creator. Then the third one is the analyst who uses what she has just shared, Joanne. So, and the formulas I've just given you. This person helps with looking through the two. Yeah. And then the fourth one is the person who draws the strategies. Like this is now the first person who begins the whole process. That is the person. So those are the basic four, because then in the content, you're going to find a photographer, you're going to find a videographer, you're going to find a graphic designer, you're going to find a blogger in the content. So the content manager has to either do these jobs by themselves, or they are going to hire people like part-time. Can you write for me a blog here? They're going to hire influencers. Can you do this for me? And then they combine and have content. But those are the four. Now, this is what happens. Most times you find your own self knowing that I am so good with managing pages. I don't like creating content. And that is your skill set. That is you're good at. You like being on the platforms and connecting people. And, hey, Joanne, there's this kind of thing. And you pull Patricia in and like, you guys, you need to meet because you're good with this. That is community management. Now you will be very, very well placed to just manage the platforms. Then someone like me, like, no, guys, me, I'm good at writing my things down and researching and coming up with strategies. So I'll end up either writing content or doing the strategies. Then someone like Joanne who likes to see visuals and reports and stuff like that, she walk in and be like, no, guys, me, I'm good with analyzing this, everything you guys have been doing. So what have you guys been doing? This is a report. This is how it looks like. This is what came out. That's what happened. So in there, you find where your fitting is. The requirements are more into what the job needs, what needs to be done at the job. That's what happens. Jackson, explain in brief. I missed the explanation on post-engagement. Post-engagement, yeah. Was mine or yours?
It was in mine. And briefly, we talked about what to measure when you say engagement. And I gave examples of if you are posting to say a facial cream and you want to sell it, and the idea is to have it's a project, like it's a product, new product reach. Sorry. So the idea is to measure engagement. Means how are people engaging with your content? Are they retweeting? Are they commenting? So how are they engaging with your content? Then also, Kahil mentioned something about click return.
Click-through rate.
Yes, please. So now let's say if you say we are launching a product and now we want to know how people are engaging with that product. So if you say click here to access the product, so you can measure and say how many people went there to click and download something and etc. So it's really about how do people engage with your content online, and you can measure it by the number of retweets, number of shares, number of comments. So it's about really engagement. I hope I've helped you understand. It's about engagement. Jackson, have you understood in brief the issue of engagement, post-engagement? It's really trying to measure how people are interacting with your content.
Yeah.
And that is done by retweeting, by sharing, by commenting. So you can look at that content and say, okay, fine, they are saying this about us. Okay, it makes sense, and things like that.
So I'll give now a real example on this. If you go back on the formulas that I shared, you're going to see the engagement for reach comes through in these lines. So post-reach or post-engagement, for some will be post-engagement or average engagement rate, but it is post-views divide by total followers. So if you go to post-reach would be I have 10,000 people on my page. Then how many people viewed or what we call impressions saw your post? So if there are 10 people who saw your post, you get the 10 people divided by the 10,000 that are on your page, and then you get a number, if a percentage of how many people actually really engaged with or saw the post. So the engagement, post engagements are mainly the likes, the comments, the return, the shares. Yeah, the shares. That is what the post engagement means. Someone who commented, they come into post engagement. They have engaged with you. Someone who liked or gave you a love or hugged you or cried on your post. You know, Facebook does also the crying, the sadness, all those reactions. It's what goes into post engagement. Yeah.
In the chat, I see something from Victoria, and yes, actually, when we're doing this training, I told Kahil, this thing is a whole big array of things, and in all honesty, I like what she said. I think it's nice to take it day by day, but also I think start small. Yeah, I think when you're doing these goals, you can say now, let me just focus on growing my fan base or on customer. Pick one thing you can handle
at a time,
and then pick that one thing and run with it like for a year, and then learn from it, even for 6 months. Learn from it, and then now it's okay. Now I think we can now go on the next stage. I think pace yourself, because even Kahil, she has like how many years now? It's been years. So it is like years of learning and growing. So I think if we can pace ourselves and bite what we can chew, the pressure will be less.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. It takes time. We all begin with managing a page.
Yes.
And then from managing a page, then we start now going to creating the content for that page, because then you have managed, but now what am I managing? People who are already in the room. Remember when I used that? You have an event and people in the room, but you're managing them. You're coming through and saying, oh, welcome, Joanne, welcome, Kahil, please have a seat there. Oh, welcome. But you're not feeding them. So we're like, hey, these people, they have sat in this room. For how long will they sit? Then you realize I need to feed them. That means you need to give them content. You need to have something that they can chew on. God, they are very quiet. They're not even saying anything. Then you go in and you're like, let me give them something to talk about. That is what your content does, something to talk about. Then they start talking. They start engaging. They're asking you questions. Now we are here. How you said your business does this. Can we have a sample? That is the engagement. That is what happens with, yeah.
So any reactions, any feedback before we then ask for feedback on the sessions? because we would like to hear from you to also help us improve in the trainings. The September training, you really asked us to slow down in our speaking. And yes,
We have really
Kahil
slowed
and I
down.
speak very fast,
Yeah.
and we really try to slow down. So we are listening.
Yeah, Jackson has said looking forward to more interactive time with us. Yeah, we will see you. We will see you next year. Yes,
Oh,
we hope
okay,
to
he's
see you
from
next
Malawi.
year. You're from Malawi.
Hi, Jackson.
And we are glad that you've enjoyed the sessions and you've given us time. You came through in September and you've come through in October. So we really appreciate you very much. Thank you. So my friend Esther from Nairobi, I'm waiting for you to say something. Yes!
She's overwhelmed and you're
No, she came through. She came through. Immediately when I was saying it, it's like I had like this spiritual connection and like she's typing.
We need to respect these digital marketeers. We need to respect them. There's a lot of work that goes in this, a lot of work.
Miriam, you're back into speaking. Can you speak? Unmute yourself and speak. I see your hand is up and you've been brought to the front. Please speak. Esther, don't get overwhelmed. It begins like that and then you start enjoying it. For me, it is a passion, so I enjoy it. You can wake me up anytime and ask me anything. You see my numbers actually in the presentations you have. So if you get overwhelmed, just reach out. Send me an email, WhatsApp me, I will respond and help you out.
Yeah, but remember to always pace yourself.
Oh, and do some research on some things that you don't understand. If you like, Google has a lot of resources to learn and teach you. The truth is, I learned from Google. I've never been in any school for digital marketing. All the things that I know, all the content things that I've shared, I went, Googled them like, no, how do you do nice content? Then I went, Googled, learned, then I acted on it. Then I found my own ways. Like, no, this way is too hard, or this way is too simple. You can't be sharing such simple content. Then I went in and started sharing my own ways. So also you can learn in that way. You can go and teach yourself and actually renovate, because you see now, the platforms that we use or we work with, that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Now there's TikTok. Like, I'm even thinking, Patricia, I need to buy a camera, I need a ring light, because now it is video and I need to do 20 minutes videos to talk about, it is a lot. But because the systems change, the platforms keep on renovating themselves and moving forward. It's not like those days when a platform failed, like, which platform do you remember? High Five?
High Five, I miss High Five.
Like tagged things to do with, what is the other platform? The current one that was there before Facebook died, before Facebook came and threw it over. It used to share music. So those platforms died because they will not renovate themselves. But now the current platforms are like, we ain't dying. We will buy everyone who wants to take over and put their function, put their app as a function in our bigger section. You see how they have done to Clubhouse? Twitter has just decided to do spaces and destroyed almost Clubhouse. Like, okay, we understand it's audio. Yeah, we're going to add an audio version of Clubhouse to Twitter. So Facebook decided to tell Thingy, WhatsApp, you're not going to destroy our messenger. We are buying you. And now we are now under Meta. We are now under Meta. So it's Meta that bought, not Facebook. Esther, you're saying, oh, also I love hot suits and I know it does a good job in terms. Yes, it does. It does a very good job. Alexis has been really great learning experience for me. I now know that digital marketing field is really wide. Looking forward to more of such. You're welcome, Alex. Please also learn. If you get into a space, guys, someone else, even if it's not us, in your countries that you are, and they are offering these kind of trainings, go and learn. Even if you know, there is something that you're going to find that you didn't know, or we didn't train you, or we didn't teach you on this platform. So any digital marketing thing that would come through on your side, please attend and also share the knowledge. The sector keeps on growing and growing. The next thing we are going to AI. Some of us will not be, like, we will be in our beds and what are they called? hologram. Yes, we will have a hologram teaching. Like, yeah, like Kahil is not in the
But
like, I'm not
reality,
me, but I am
yes.
here. And the hologram would be teaching such things. Or I'll send my bot, which will look like me, and I'm like, you bot, you go and teach people in that country. Me, I'll be teaching the other side, like multiplying ourselves. But that is the only way we will be able to, that is how the platforms are growing. That's how technology is like redistributing everything. So you have to continuously, it's a continuous learning process. But continuously teach yourself.
I just want to emphasize something we shared, I think, on day 2 with Kahil, content strategy. You know, panic happens when everything is too much for you. Like, it's just too much for you. But then when you calm down and you say, what, let me organize myself. It's like when you're moving house and they have all these boxes everywhere. When you're moving house, they're everywhere. But when you say, you know what, let me take one room per room, you know, organize them, it helps. So have your content strategy. If it's like 1 page or 2 pages,
yes,
just have it to just guide you. Have one goal, have, you know, clear, simple metrics, few of them, start from there. Pat yourself every time you have something good happening. You say, okay, yeah, okay, we got more engagement. That's nice. More retreats, more comments, more feedback. That's good. Or more followers. Okay, that's really good. Then you start to grow. Just pace yourself, but have something to guide you. That when someone says, do for us, you're like, no, it's not in my plans. Yes, yeah. This month I am focusing on growth of my fan base, or on customer care, or on reach, things like that.
No, but then also you leave room for such things that are not planned for. Like emergencies that walk in and say, oh my God, this happened to our MD, or there's an emergency that is in a country that relates to your business. Like, leave room to have that one emergency be featured in the calendar. Like, yeah, that's why you have to plan. So you plan for you. So the what's the word? What's the word? Oh my God, the word has just gone. Unexpected, miscellaneous.
It is why those things are in budgets, miscellaneous.
Yes. Yeah. So you add a miscellaneous in your calendar. Like this one, someone will walk in and tell me, can you post for me my report? Can you post for me this flyer? We have an event tomorrow. And like, but you guys, why didn't you tell me earlier? No, you don't tell them that, because you need also, and the other thing you need to understand, as a digital marketing person, you are the middle person for everyone in the business, like for everyone in the organization. The researcher, the MD, the receptionist, the customer care person, even the tip person in the building, you are the middle person. You know why? Because the tip person is one who is going to speak about the goodness of the organization. If you need a testimonial about your organization, that tip person is one who is going to give it. Then the MD is one who is going to come in with an announcement for the business. So you need to be in that. The PR person is one who is writing the news and the what are they called? The press releases. So you need to be onto that press release. You need to be in the marketing field, because the marketing people are the ones who know what the product they are sending out. We don't want to. You don't want to what? To close in through. Yeah.
Esther says bye. You should greet her before she goes.
Yes, I need to greet you. Okay. Sorry. Jackson said, I enjoyed another training on web content development conducted by Runa and EP, and more talent and more was learned on social media toolkit, social media calendar map. This training has just nailed it in detail. Interesting. You're welcome, Jackson. Esther, I like the fact that you taught yourself this, Patricia. It's a passion and you have grown in this. Yes, my dear. Thank you for having me once again. Ladies, have a beautiful day. I gotta go. Yes, guys, we only have 6 minutes to our 11 o'clock. Yes. So we are practically saying goodbye and just here chatting with you guys. We don't have tea. We should have decided we're having a tea break with you and as you leave. Yeah.
And really, and just to say thank you for making time for our
we appreciate your time. Oh God, let me even look in the camera and say this. We appreciate the time. Thank you for giving us time. Thank you for carrying us in your offices all over Africa. The people from Nigeria, guys from Malawi, South Africa, our Kenyan neighbors. First, we are in Uganda here, and our Ugandan members here. Thank you, guys. We have really enjoyed doing this, giving, pouring into our knowledge, and you pouring back into us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you see me anywhere online, if you see me in your country, if you see a flyer speaking about me in your country, please come into that area and just say, hi, Kahil, I know you from Zoom.
From Zoom
I
to
know you
now
from
physical
Zoom,
meetups.
and now we are doing a physical meet. So yeah, please. Okay, guys. Joanne, you have to say your goodbyes. I've said mine. Oh, Zimbabwe. Yes, Zimbabwe. I didn't say anything about Zimbabwe. I am seeing you, my dear. I don't want to mention your name. It's going to be hard for me to say. Yeah.
Oh, Ivory Coast too.
Ah, we have Ivory Coast in the house. Oh, yes. Marshall, we see you. Somalia. Oh, God. I can see the whole continent is on here. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying it. And I'm actually,
everyone.
I'm saying thanks to God for giving me the skill sets to empower my African people. Oh, my African people. Yes.
So I can now start.
Oh, yeah, Joanne, you can see me. I'm being excited.
I just want to say thank you so much. And this training has been made possible by Roof Forum. We just want to thank Roof Forum for allowing us to share these skills with you. And we thank you so much for also allowing us to enter into your living spaces and connect with you. And we hope that this engagement will also continue online. I am very active on Twitter, it's my space. So feel free to reach out to me at Apio Joanne, it's that simple. And with my person, we are always online. So thank you once again so much for making time for us.
Oh, there was Cote d'Ivoire.
Oh, yes. At the end of the training, we are going to send you those certificates. So please bear with us. They will be designed for you and sent to you via email.
My God, Ghana.
Yeah. Kahil wants to give access to Ghana.
Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia.
She's excited.
I'm really excited, guys. I'm so happy. Yeah, you get your certificates. I don't know. I won't be the one signing on them though, but yeah, I think Joanne will sign on them and our MD here, so you will receive. But yeah, I'm so excited that I'm seeing you guys on here, like here representing from all countries. 3 minutes to go. I'm trying to make sure that I am in this all 3 minutes. Like, yeah, Zimbabwe, I see you. But where are my Ugandan people? Where are my Ugandan people?
They're I'm here. You see, I'm doing a happy dance. Doing a happy dance.
Now Ugandan people, please come through
Everett.
also. Say
Okay.
yes. Thank you for that present. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Patricia, I can see you.
Victoria,
yes. Well done. Well done, guys. Well done. Wow. Should we do it again?
Which one?
This one.
This one. No, you guys have been so engaging. Thank you.
Thank
you so much. Yeah.
There's a Ugandan song. You guys can Google it. It's for radio and Weasel.
Yes.
It's called Nela Nela. Nela means again and again. So you can listen. I dedicate that song to you guys. My African people. Nigeria. Woo!
Oh God, we see you. We thank you. But in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.